is a risky trip, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And let's not forget, Pope Francis is 84 years old, and he's doing quite a trip now. It's 4 days, 4 cities. He traveled there by plane. He'll be using helicopters to get from point A to point B. He'll be traveling perhaps in armored vehicle, definitely a covered vehicle, so that they can limit the number of people that might be drawn to him, creating gatherings that are not required in the situation of the pandemic. It's interesting to note that on his arrival with that red carpet that he had at the airport in Baghdad, we did also see him limping. Let's not forget, Pope Francis has a problem with sciatica that has flared up recently. So perhaps that's creating some problem for him. But clearly, he's not being daunted by any of this. Speaking to journalists on board that flight from Rome to Baghdad, he said that he was very happy to be doing trips again. The last time he did a trip was back in November 2019. Then, of course, you had the pandemic, and so all trips were cancelled. He said he felt he had a duty towards a land that had martyred for so many, clearly referring to the suffering faced by Iraqis and Iraqi Christians in particular, who have been persecuted through decades of war at many levels. And so I think that's the message that he wants to bring to the people in Iraq. As he said himself, he's a pilgrim of peace. And that's the message that he wants to bring in this visit.
Quite. And just to remind viewers what we're looking at, these are live pictures coming to us from Baghdad. The Pope has just driven across the city, and he has just arrived at the presidential palace, where he will be sitting down with the president for talks there. And Seema, as we've been discussing, the Pope is really bringing a message of peace, as you would expect. He's also bringing a message of unity. He's calling on the Christians and the Muslims to work together to rebuild this country.
Yes, indeed. I mean, throughout his 8 years of his papacy, he's really very much stressed on the idea of inter-religious dialogue. So this is really a continuation of that. It's going to be interesting to see on Saturday when you have the 84-year-old pontiff meeting the 90-year-old Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani. Now, he's one of the top leaders in Shia Islam. He will be meeting him in the holy city of Najaf. And really, I think it's a continuation of the idea of inter-religious dialogue. Let's also not forget that Iraq is also the location for the birthplace of Abraham, the prophet that is revered by all three monotheistic religions, Christianity, Islam, as well as Judaism. So that, again, a symbolic moment that he will be paying a visit there. And also later today, he will be meeting with religious leaders and members of the clergy in Iraq, in a Catholic church in Baghdad itself, a church that back in 2010 saw 58 worshippers killed by Islamist militants. So a poignant moment that will be, as well, as he remembers the suffering of Christians in the country, but again, a message of support to them, a message of reassurance as he travels to the country in this historic visit as the first pope to travel to Iraq.
And Seema, stay with us, but let's just take a quick listen to what's happening right now.